Alex Eala is back on the road as she begins her build-up for the U.S. Open hardcourt season.
About 262,000 people may trace their ancestry back to a single Southeast Asian archipelago in a portion of the New York metropolitan area that includes Queens, Jersey City, portions of Long Island, and the northern edge of Bergen County. That town has existed for decades and is home to more people than either Buffalo or Orlando, which is practically a mid-sized American metropolis tucked away inside the largest American city. They weren't there to play tennis. They came in search of better chances, engineering positions, nursing jobs, family reunion permits, and the prospect of creating something for the next generation. And now, that city within a city is getting ready to welcome 21-year-old Filipino left-hander Alex Eala as she arrives in New York for the 2026 U.S. Open. "I'm really proud to be Filipino." According to Eala, some of the story is revealed by the videos that are currently making the rounds on the internet. Every place she goes, fans congregate, phones are raised, Philippine flags are stuffed into bags, stadiums are filled with cheers, and entire sections seem to move with her. Observing those crowds and thinking, "She built this," is the natural response. Take a look at what she produced. Beneath all of this, however, is a far larger concern. Is Alex Eala gaining a following in New York, or is she being embraced by one that has existed in silence for many generations? Eala once stated, "I don't have a home tournament, so I'm so grateful that they made me feel like I'm home," which exactly captured the emotion. Everything is altered by that sentence. Because the narrative is well known whether she developed this fanbase on her own. A youthful celebrity climbs to prominence, wins significant games, gains more attention, and gradually builds an ardent fanbase. Tennis has witnessed the tale numerous times. However, the story goes well beyond tennis if the throng was already present, if what appears to be a large fanbase is actually a return home, and if what appears to be celebrity is truly recognition. It turns into a tale of how a single individual standing on a court thousands of miles from their family's origins may help a dispersed group of people find one another. As thousands of flags fill a stadium, it turns into a tale about representation rather than a catchphrase. Therefore, before discussing victories, rankings, draws, or forecasts, we must comprehend Alex Eala's personality and the reasons behind the disparate responses around her. Eala, who is 5 feet 9 inches tall, left-handed, and 21 years old, trains at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca. She achieved a career-high ranking of world number 20 in 2026 and became the first player from the Philippines to win a WTA Tour Singles Championship on August 3 when she upset world number 3 Jessica Pegula in a rain-delayed final at the MOBBED City DC Open in Washington. The tennis CV does not adequately describe what is going on around her, even though that accomplishment alone is historic. The about 7,500 spectators were heavily in favor of Eala during that final, with Filipino flags flying around the stadium and supporters rising and cheering as she approached her chair during changeovers. Now take a moment to consider that. Before you've even won your first WTA Singles Championship, how do you create that kind of atmosphere? From where do the flags originate? What is the origin of the chants? Where does the organizing, the purchase of tickets, the journey, and the emotional commitment originate? These things don't just show up. Then something much more bizarre occurred. After the match, Jessica Pegula, the third-ranked American star in the world, apparently attracted thousands of new Filipino fans. Consider how strange that is. When your favorite player loses, you typically don't immediately follow the winner in a typical sports fandom. You may not embrace them right away, but you may appreciate them. But just by sharing that court with Eala, Pegula entered the narrative of the Filipino audience. That reveals a crucial detail about what these supporters are genuinely interested in. Furthermore, the evidence is far older. Filipino supporters in Manila were waiting for Eala even before she won her Washington title. Crowds reportedly formed large lines and waited for hours to meet her at fan events in July. She still hadn't taken home the WTA crown. She was still ranked 20th in the world. The accomplishment that would subsequently garner global attention had not even taken place. People had already arrived. That's the hint. Then, there is a huge Filipino population in the metropolitan area, with tens of thousands of Filipinos residing in New York City and hundreds of thousands having ties to the Philippines. Many are centered in Queens, which is close to Flushing Meadows' Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. They're not fans. One match at a time, Eala recruited. This is a community that predates her birth. Long before Eala picked up a tennis racket, families in New York and New Jersey developed houses, companies, churches, friendships, and traditions. An infrastructure that has been in place for decades was established by Filipino grocery businesses, social groups, churches, neighborhood associations, and family networks. That network was not created by Eala. She provided it with a focal point. Build and that verb are quite different. The appetite was inherited by her. The pride was passed down to her. She inherited the desire to see a member of her family appear on a significant global stage. And she's the one standing there now. Every picture of her admirers starts to seem different once you realize that distinction. The flags are more than just advertising. There's more to the chants than merely fan club chatter. At last, a community has the opportunity to greet one of its own. After winning in Washington, Eala reported getting letters from friends and family all across the world, saying that she already felt so much love that it would have been a victory regardless of what occurred in the final. Already, the term is important. She was talking about love that existed before to the trophy. The connection was not made by the trophy. It made it clear. Because of this, her arrival in New York has a distinct emotional significance. She is not entering a deserted stadium with the intention of persuading strangers to give a damn. She is entering a community that has been anticipating the arrival of someone just like her. Perhaps the most compelling evidence of all is the Pegulo effect. Instead of just turning into the antagonist on the opposite side of the internet, Pegula attracted Filipino fans after losing to Eala. Why? Because conquering Pegula was never the primary goal here. It was about witnessing a Filipina achieve success on a platform where she could finally be seen by millions of people. Pegula joined the moment. The rival joined in on the festivities. That is hard to describe in terms of regular fandom, but it makes perfect. Since when you consider the strength of diaspora identity, a community is witnessing one of its own emerge, and anyone in close proximity can join the narrative. Because of this, the videos of Filipino fans waiting for Eala in New York resemble a family waiting at the gate rather than a mob pursuing a celebrity. However, there is more to this tale, and it is crucial to be truthful about it. Eala's victory at the US Open is not assured by any of this. It does not ensure that she will prevail in her first-round encounter. A deep run is not assured by it. That is not how tennis operates. A world-class opponent cannot be defeated by crowds hitting forehands for you, flags serving out a set, or community support. This summer, Eala has already encountered the challenging aspects of the sport. She defeated world number 10 Amanda Anisimova in straight sets at the Cincinnati Open, serving as a reminder that momentum is fleeting and that every event starts from nothing. Speaking candidly about momentum, Eala has described it as something that can exist without offering any assurances. Her story's impact is independent of her winning every match, which is why honesty is important. Depending on what her presence signifies, yes. And the Filipino community is not the only group that is represented. Millions of people have learned about Eala's game, personality, and background thanks to her performances, which have garnered her acclaim on a global scale. Pretending that everyone supporting her is Filipino is not the point of this. It's about understanding what lies beneath the largest crowds. The community that was already there provides the majority of her support. And that brings us back to New York, the city within the city, the families who established their lives in Queens, Jersey City, Long Island, and northern New Jersey, the parents and grandparents who left the Philippines in search of opportunity, and the kids who grew up hearing tales of a homeland they may have only known through family, food, language, customs, and memories. Witnessing someone from home become well known on a worldwide scale evokes a unique feeling. It's the sensation of seeing a piece of yourself in a place you never thought you would. Thousands of miles away from the islands where their family originated, the Filipino community in New York has been working, raising families, starting businesses, and constructing a life for generations. With the Philippine flag flying behind her, one of their own is now entering Flushing Meadows. Because of this, the phrase, "she is arriving in New York," does not adequately describe what is taking place. Is more than just getting to New York. She is on her way to New York. The space is already there. People have already arrived. In a sense, the chair has been waiting for her. And thousands more Filipinos will be watching as she steps onto that court because they know that the significance of this moment goes beyond the scoreboard on August 27th, regardless of whether she wins the first round, advances to the second round, or departs earlier than anyone anticipates. We will find out who Eala will face in the first round and what obstacles lie in her way of another historic run when the US Open women's singles draw is announced. However, no draw can predict what will transpire in the stands. That is already known to us. There will be Philippine flags. There will be an opportunity. Families will travel in the direction of Flushing Meadows. Others will observe from their homes, eateries, businesses, and community centers. During a late night or early morning shift, some people will watch from a phone. Some will be in the Philippines, thousands of miles away. And the same basic emotion will bind them all together. At last, someone from home has arrived. That is Alex Eala's actual story in New York. 262,000 people were not created by her. She didn't create a whole diaspora. The desire to see a Filipino triumph on the largest stages in the world was not created by her. She just turned into the one who could at last give that hunger a face. And maybe that's why her trip seems so strong. A rising tennis player can become well known, win prizes, and move up the rankings. However, an athlete occasionally develops into something more. They serve as a gathering place for those who are dispersed among cities, nations, and generations. Even if Alex Eala enters the court by herself, she won't feel isolated. Families that have been waiting for this kind of moment for decades, fans who have driven for hours to see her, kids who can now witness a Filipina competing at the greatest level, and a community that can finally look at the TV and say, "That is one of us," will be behind her. Therefore, don't just wonder how many followers Alex Eala has when you watch the 2026 US Open and see those Philippine flags flying from the stands. Find out where they come from. Because the solution can be the most crucial aspect of the whole narrative. She didn't create the audience on her own. The audience had already assembled. She merely provided them with someone to congregate around. And finally, she's here. Tell me what it meant to you if your own family ever moved